Okay, welcome back. Now let's turn our attention to Chapter 7. So this will be a quick review of Chapter 7. May do it in one or two videos and take just a high-level look and review of the Classical School of Economics. So if you recall previously from my lecture before all of this madness started, you'll recall I put something on the board kind of similar to this, right? So the Classical School of Economics, which is kind of founded or given credit to Adam Smith for the founding of, and of course his book Wealth of Nations. But it's kind of built on, it's got three pillars and really one big foundation. All right, so let's just look at this really quick and review. So the first pillar of the Classical School of Economics is flexible prices. And that seems pretty straightforward. If you recall our discussion, what does that mean, flexible prices? Well, it means prices change. Prices can go up, prices can go down. And that kind of seems maybe obvious, but really the importance of that and the big takeaway for this first pillar is that the idea is in the long run, markets can't have shortages or surpluses because they will clear themselves in the long run. Certainly in the short run, meaning at a specific point in time, markets can have shortages or surpluses. A good example right now is toilet paper, right? There is a shortage of toilet paper. I mean, that's clearly obvious to anybody that's been at Kroger or Aldi or any other CVS, any other store. So the idea was in the short run, there could be shortages and surpluses, but that in fact, because of flexible prices, markets would clear themselves of those shortages and surpluses in the long run. And the other thing that's important to remember about prices is we're not just talking about the price of bananas or, pizza, right? Other things have prices. The price of your labor is called wages, right? The price of money called interest. So all of those prices are flexible and can adjust to market conditions. The second thing we talked about was Say's law. And if you recall, I kind of went off a little bit and talked about I'm not a big fan of the thing that we make every economics student kind of memorize, which is what's Say's law? Well, supply creates its own demand. I don't think students really fully understand what that means, and Say never actually said that, right? What Say said is that producing goods generates enough income to workers for all goods to be purchased, right? And the other component is that he did say prosperity should be increased by stimulating production, not consumption. So what Say's law means is that it's production that drives the economy, not consumption. But of course, you'll memorize supply creates its own demand, and that's what every economics student ends up doing anyway. Third, laissez-faire. Ooh, my handwriting is kind of messy, so I'll apologize for that, and I'll try to go slower and make it a little bit more legible. But so laissez-faire. If you'll recall, that's talking about the government's role in the economy. And again, Wealth of Nations was written at a time where mercantilism was sort of the dominant economic system, and the crown and the government sort of controlled business and firms through the issue of writs and contracts, and basically allowed companies like the East India Trading Company and companies like that to operate as near monopolies. And so the idea for laissez-faire is that the government doesn't need to take an active role like that, and the government should actually sort of remain hands-off when it came to the economy. Not that we don't need government, but that in terms of economic entanglement, it's best to have a kind of hands-off approach. And then the fourth and final sort of foundation is a self-correcting economy. and this is in the long run. Oh, I can't spell. Sorry. The idea being that the economy in the long run will gravitate towards equilibrium. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and then we'll talk about that using the aggregate supply or aggregate demand and aggregate supply model, and talking about a self-correcting economy. So, be right back.